February 14th. Welcome to Coffee Break on the HAN Network. I'm Kate Czaplinski with the latest local news, including a drug bust in Orange, a wrong-way driver arrested, and in some lighter news, some love found at the Connecticut Beardsley Zoo. Frank Granito is here with the forecast and later on a Nutmeg Sports update, and Donna Lang will join us later to take a look back on this day in history. But first, a Bridgeport teen has been charged in connection with a pair of robberies, including the October gunpoint robbery and assault on Canoe Brook Lake. Now, police say that 19-year-old Dwight Daly was involved in setting up two Trumbull teens who attempted to buy and smoke marijuana in the woods near the lake on October 9th. But instead, Daly and a number of others, some of them under age 18, allegedly beat and robbed the two. Now, one of the suspects also put a gun to the victim's head, although police said that pistol turned out to be a BB gun. Well, during the investigation, police also learned that Daly was allegedly involved in an August 11th robbery of a pizza delivery driver at the Royce at Trumbull apartment complex on Avalon Gates. Now, in that incident, police said the delivery driver arrived at the apartment complex and called the customer's phone to say he was at the gate. He was given the access code to get into the complex, and then a group of males waved him over, saying they had placed the order. Well, when that driver approached the group, they threw him to the ground and began kicking him and demanded money. Police said one of the members of the group took the driver's wallet, which contained about $60. Police said that driver refused treatment for some minor injuries. Well, a review of the driver's phone records and the complex's security cameras led police to identify Daly as a suspect. He turned himself in on both crimes on February 6th. And state police seized marijuana and cocaine following an early Tuesday morning traffic stop in Orange. On February 13th at about 12:30 a.m., troopers from Troop G in Bridgeport were conducting some motor vehicle enforcement when they observed a 2004 Acura conduct a motor vehicle violation. Troopers stopped the Acura on Route 114 near New Haven Avenue in Orange, and upon speaking with the occupants, troopers immediately detected the odor of marijuana coming from the vehicle and determined that marijuana may still be contained inside. Well, troopers initiated an investigation, and with the help of the state police narcotic detection dog K9 Silver, troopers located and seized over 1 pound of marijuana, over 1/2 kilogram of powder cocaine, and approximately $2,500 in cash. Now, both the operator, 20-year-old Jocelyn Serrano Rivera of Hamden, and the passenger, 24-year-old Jonathan Brito of Derby, were taken into custody and transported to Troop G. They now face several charges. And Hearst, Connecticut media reports that a 59-year-old Bridgeport woman has been arrested after driving the wrong way on the Merritt Parkway and colliding with a vehicle late Tuesday night. State police said that 3 people were injured in the accident that involved 3 vehicles, according to troopers. Now, just before 11 p.m., Ashley Cooper was driving her 2005 Nissan Altima southbound in the northbound lane near exit 46 in Fairfield. Well, Cooper's vehicle was in the left lane when it struck the front left side of an Acadia SUV driven by 51-year-old Jeffrey Butler of Shelton. Now, after being struck, that SUV lost control into the right lane where it hit the left side center of a Toyota RAV4. Now, Cooper, the wrong-way driver, was taken to Bridgeport Hospital for treatment of injuries. Also injured were Butler, the driver of the SUV, and a passenger in the vehicle identified as 51-year-old Paige Butler, also of Shelton. Now, the driver of the RAV4, identified as 54-year-old William McGeorge of Bridgeport, refused medical attention. And in other news, here's another reminder to lock your car doors and keep valuables out of plain sight. Take a look at this video shared by state police. Now, this was an attempted break-in on Saturday around 3:30 in the morning in Durham, Connecticut. Now, police say it's a reminder that some suspects look for cars that are unlocked and easy to access. No smashing windows, no forced entry, and no noise, easy targets only. They say other suspects, like the one in that video, look for cars that are either unlocked or have valuables in plain sight. Police say they'll risk making some noise and smashing a window if those valuables are in plain sight. So a good thing to keep in mind. And Ash Wednesday is today, February 14th, and for practicing Catholics and other Christians, it's a day of penance and fasting, despite also falling on Ash Wednesday. It's also 46 days before Easter Sunday. Now, this morning, St. Luke's in Darien was giving out ashes on the go to busy commuters, but if you still need your ashes, many of our local news sites have your Ash Wednesday services listed now, so you can get more information there. All right, let's take a turn now. Throw it over to Frank Granito, who already got his ashes today. Frank?
That's right, Kate. We're looking at a mild day around Fairfield County. Temperatures in the mid-40s. Intervals of sun and clouds throughout the day as we see the sun starting to poke out right now. Considerable cloudiness overnight. A low in the mid-30s, and we could see some fog and spotty showers making their way around the county before Thursday morning. That fog going to be dense, continue into Thursday. Much warmer out tomorrow. Temperatures all the way up into the mid, possibly even high 50s. Sun and clouds throughout the day, increasing cloud cover overnight. There is more rain on the way. Temperatures in the mid-40s tomorrow night. Rain starting late, and it will carry through Friday morning. Those showers going to run around until around 2 p.m. on Friday, but we'll have more on that as we get closer to it during the week. Kate, let's send it back over to you.
All right, thanks so much, Frank. And we are going to step out for a break. When we come back, Donald Eng will take a look back on this day in history. Frank has your Nutmeg Sports Update, and we have more local news after this.
Voted Best Gourmet to Go in Fairfield County, Palmer's extensive menu offers everything you'll need to make your next event easy and delicious. Whether you're hosting a small get-together or planning a large celebration, they've got you covered breakfast through dessert. Order online at palmersdarien.com or call 203-655-2077.
Yeah, Dad.
Kyle, I need you to update the financial statements.
I took care of that yesterday, Dad.
Mac, I need you to get those deals approved.
They're all done, Mr. Miller.
Jeff, I need you to order lunch for the meeting. They can't do a thing without me.
Right now, lease a 2017 Sentra S for only $97 a month.
I'm never going to retire.
UK Gourmet is the largest specialty grocer in the area, featuring food from England, Ireland, Scotland, and Wales. Over 80 teas to choose from and a brilliant assortment of biscuits to go with them. Over 70 cheeses from grass-fed cows, which makes a smashing difference in taste. The creamiest chocolate you'll ever taste using no artificial colors or preservatives. So say hooray for UK Gourmet, 78 Stony Hill Road in Bethel, or visit ukgourmet.us.
Welcome back to this February 14th edition of your Coffee Break on the HAN Network. I'm Kate Czaplinski, and it's time to get a look back on this day in history with Donald Eng. Don.
Well, Kate, it is a Valentine's Day look back. Happy Valentine's Day, everyone. Seems a good place to start would be the history of the day. The namesake, Saint Valentine, that's Valentinus, who actually didn't have a happy Valentine's Day because on 296 on this day, he was martyred in Italy. Now, normally, I would give you some facts about the man venerated as Saint Valentine, but I've actually already told you everything we know about him, his name and his martyrdom. In fact, the church doesn't actually know exactly how many St. Valentines there are. The stories of Valentine could be conflations of at least 2, possibly as many as 7 men. Valentine was officially named a saint on this date in 496, 2 centuries after his death, and even then, Pope Gelasius declared that although his name is venerated, his acts were known only to God. His feast day became associated with courtly romance in the 13th century, about 1,000 years after his death, for reasons that also are not known. So what do we know about Valentine's Day? Well, you're running out of time to order flowers, so if you haven't, get on the phone. 1924 now, the Computing, Tabulating, Recording Company changes its name to International Business Machines. That would be IBM. The company was, believe it or not, a manufacturer of time clocks, meat slicers, and scales. 1929 now we go. The St. Valentine's Day Massacre. 7 people, 6 of them rival gangsters of Al Capone, are murdered in a Chicago garage. When police arrived, one of the victims, Frank Gusenberg, was still alive despite being shot 14 times. Asked who shot him, he famously declared omerta, saying no one. Though the massacre solidified Capone's control over Chicago, the public outcry would lead to a crackdown on the city's underworld. Finally, now we go to 1990, where? Right here, just from a slightly different perspective. Look at this.
From this distant vantage point, the Earth might not seem of any particular interest. But for us, it's different. Consider again that dot. That's here. That's home. That's us. On it, everyone you love, everyone you know, everyone you ever heard of, every human being who ever was, lived out their lives.
That, of course, was Carl Sagan modelingizing on what we now call the pale blue dot photo, taken by Voyager 1 on this date in 1990 as it left the solar system. At a distance of 3.7 billion miles, the photo was taken at Sagan's request. Earth occupies 1/640,000th of the frame. You can find his entire comments online if you want. It's about 3 minutes, but perhaps give you a whole new perspective. That is your look back in history for today, Valentine's Day, February 14th, and I'm Donald Ng.
All right, thanks so much, Don. Well, in other local news, in Ridgefield, a 3-car accident at the intersection of Route 7 and Canes Hill Road sent one man to the hospital on Tuesday and created lines of alternating one-way traffic on that state highway for a time. Well, police on the scene reported that a white Dodge SUV partially rolled onto the hood of a gray minivan. A third vehicle, a pickup truck, was turning onto Canes Hill Road from Route 7 when it struck the front side of that SUV. Well, besides injuries to the one man, the other injuries were reported to be minor and didn't require any transport to Danbury Hospital. And the Milford Fire Department welcomed back firefighter Zach Daniel Tuesday after a 6-month deployment to Qatar with the Air National Guard 103rd Airlift Wing. Now, firefighters gathered as a flag, which has flown in front of the station since he left, was lowered and solemnly folded. Now, 30-year-old Daniel departed July 15th and returned to the United States on January 15th. Tuesday marked his second shift at the Milford Fire Department since his return. He has been a Milford firefighter for about 8 years. Well, the Milford Fire Department had flown a service star flag at fire headquarters since his deployment, as it has done for other firefighters who left to serve their country. They say that flag represents service in the armed forces of the United States during any period of war or hostilities in which the armed forces are engaged. Well, a modest man, Daniel declined a bright spotlight with the half-dozen or so television and news reporters who showed up for his welcome back. He worked as a firefighter while deployed, taking part in training and exercises. There's a lot more on that story at milfordmirror.com. And if the Me Too era workplace seems a potential minefield, Ridgefield town officials want to help their employees navigate what's acceptable and what isn't. About 30 town department heads will gather on Friday for a sexual harassment seminar led by representatives of the Women's Center of Greater Danbury. Now, First Selectman Rudy Marconi said in part what we want to cover is harassment, discrimination, as well as bullying. Now, the idea sprang from a program that he took recently as a member of the Men's Committee of the Women's Center. Marconi said, hopefully we do not have any situations comparable to what we've heard about on the news, but that doesn't mean we shouldn't refresh people's memories on a regular basis about the do's and don'ts within the workspace. He said once this training has taken place, they would like to bring that training to other staff members because it's not always a subordinate supervisor issue. More on that story at theridgefieldpress.com. And the 10th annual Pacific House Close to Home Dessert Tasting and Youth Concert will be held on Friday, February 23rd from 7 to 10 p.m. at the Hyatt Regency in Greenwich. Now, Stratford native and musical guest Javier Colon, who's the winner of NBC's The Voice, will perform at the event at 8 p.m. and about 80 students from local high schools will join Colon on stage for a rendition of his signature song, Hallelujah. Now, the event is a fundraiser for homeless young adults. 1 year ago, Pacific House Emergency Shelter began a young adult program in response to a significant number of young adults that they were seeing coming into the shelter. These young men, ages 18 to 24, have nowhere to live and are currently calling the shelter home. Now, whether they're still in high school, doing their homework at the shelter each day, or getting help with support services, the Pacific House Young Adult Program connects these young people with housing, employment, education, and services that can prevent a lifetime of homelessness. You can find more details about that fundraising event at stratfordstar.com. And here's a Valentine's Day story for you. The two-toed sloth at the Connecticut Beardsley Zoo now has a mate. Jabba the two-toed sloth, the resident bachelor at the Beardsley Zoo in Bridgeport, is getting to know a female two-toed sloth named Hope, who came from a zoo in Michigan. Now, staff at the Beardsley Zoo have spent the last few weeks introducing Jabba and Hope. We imagine it could be a long courting process, as the sloths are the world's slowest mammals. Now, the zoo hopes the pair will become accustomed enough to mate, and also just in time for Valentine's Day, the Beardsley Zoo has also brought in a mate for its red panda, Roshan. Selected by the Species Survival Plan as an excellent match for the zoo's red panda, Mary the red panda has joined the Beardsley Zoo from the Brandywine Zoo in Delaware. Now, the new couples are not on exhibit yet, but you can follow the Connecticut Beardsley Zoo on Facebook for the latest updates. All right, let's throw it back over to Frank Granito now for your Nutmeg Sports Update. Frank.
All right, thank you, Kate. As we look around the conference for tonight, we've got some big games coming up. Not a lot going on Tuesday. Let's start with boys basketball. We're going to be at Bridgeport Central High tonight, 7 p.m. tip-off between the Hilltoppers and the Stanford Black Knights. These two teams back in the playoff picture for the first time in a couple of years, separated by just a game in the standings right now. Both teams looking to move into the top 4 spots of the conference. Other big basketball games going on tonight. Trumbull trying to stave off postseason elimination. They've got a big one against Trinity Catholic. We've got Bryan McMahon and Wilton, 2 teams fighting to get into the top 8. And then Greenwich and Danbury, as the Hatters continue to improve on their positioning. In girls basketball, just 2 games left in the regular season with playoff implications. Both tonight, Darien will host West Hill at 5:30. The Blue Wave need a win and some help. Ludlow travels to their rival Fairfield Ward. No love lost this Valentine's Day. The Falcons win, and they're in against the rival Mustangs. Boys hockey, out-of-conference matchup, big one tonight. Ridgefield travels to Wonderland. They'll take on Fairfield Prep, looking to avenge a 6-1 loss from their opening game this season. You've got Greenwich and Staples battling for first place in the FCX West Division, and it'll be Ridgefield and Fairfield girls hockey in a winner move into the top 4 scenario there. So lots of playoff implications in games tonight. Kevin and I will get you ready for all that at 2, and of course we're back tomorrow to break it down. For now, let's go back over to Kate.
All right, thanks so much, Frank. And we're going to step out for a break, come back, and recap some of the top stories we're following after this.
Dr. Stephen Molinaro and Peter Healy of Family Practice Dentistry and Laser Dental Care have served Ridgefield for over 22 years. Experienced staff offer gentle drillless techniques, preventative care, and cosmetic procedures in a relaxed environment. Grateful for the community's trust and support through the years, new patients and their families are welcome. Call today.
At Rings End, we say it's time to re-love your home. Time to refresh and reinvigorate the way you live. And whether you're redoing something big or small, remember the letters RE stand for Rings End. We're the new model in home remodeling.
While there's still a bite out on the water, most anglers have decided to stow the gear for the winter. Just because Mother Nature isn't cooperating doesn't mean you can't see the latest models of all your favorite gear. With 2 convenient locations, it couldn't be easier to get your fix of summer. Boater, beach bum, fisherman, or simply love the New England coast, this is a unique place to shop. The Dock Shop, 51 Tokenique Road, Darien, 609 Riverside Avenue, Westport, or on the web, dockshop.com. Well, there's still...
Welcome back to this Wednesday edition of your Coffee Break on the HAN Network. I'm Kate Czaplinski, recapping some of the top stories we're following today. A Bridgeport teen has been charged in connection with a pair of robberies, including the October gunpoint robbery and assault on Canoebrook Lake. Now, police say 19-year-old Dwight Daly was involved in setting up 2 Trumbull teens who attempted to buy and smoke marijuana in the woods near that lake on October 9th. But instead, Daly and a number of others, some of them under the age of 18, allegedly beat and robbed the 2. Now, one of the suspects also put a gun to the victim's head, although police said that pistol turned out to be a BB gun. Now, during the investigation, police also learned that Daly was allegedly involved in an August 11th robbery of a pizza delivery driver at the Royce at Trumbull apartment complex on Avalon Gates. In that incident, police said that the delivery driver arrived at the apartment complex and called the customer's phone to say he was at the gate. He was then giving the access code to get into the complex, and a group of males waved him over, saying that they had placed the order. Well, when the driver approached the group, they threw him to the ground and began kicking him and demanded money. Police said one of those members of the group took the driver's wallet, which contained about $60. Police said that driver refused treatment for some minor injuries at the time. Well, a review of that driver's phone records and the complex's security cameras led police to identify Daly as a suspect. He turned himself in on both crimes on February 6th. And state police seized marijuana and cocaine following an early Tuesday morning traffic stop in Orange. On February 13th at about 12 in the morning, troopers from Troop G in Bridgeport were conducting motor vehicle enforcement when they saw an Acura conduct a motor vehicle violation. Well, troopers stopped the car on Route 114 near New Haven Avenue in Orange, and upon speaking with the occupants, troopers say they detected the odor of marijuana and believed that there was marijuana inside the car. Well, troopers initiated an investigation with the assistance of State Police narcotic detection dog Silver. Troopers located and seized over 1 pound of marijuana, over 1/2 kilogram of powdered cocaine, and approximately $2,500 in cash. Both the operator, 20-year-old Jocelyn Serrano Rivera of Hamden, and the passenger, 24-year-old Jonathan Brito of Derby, were taken into custody and transported to Troop G. And in other news, Hearst, Connecticut media reports that a 59-year-old Bridgeport woman has been arrested after driving the wrong way on the Merritt Parkway and colliding with a vehicle late Tuesday night. Now, 3 people were injured in that accident, which involved 3 different vehicles, according to troopers. Now, just before 11 p.m., Ashley Cooper was driving her 2005 Nissan Altima southbound in the northbound lane near exit 46 in Fairfield. Cooper's vehicle was in the left lane when it struck the front left side of an Acadia SUV being driven by 51-year-old Jeffrey Butler of Shelton. Now, after being struck, that SUV lost control into the right lane where it hit the left side of a Toyota RAV4. Now, Cooper, who was the wrong-way driver, was taken to Bridgeport Hospital for treatment of injuries. Also injured were Butler, the driver of the SUV, and a passenger in his vehicle identified as 51-year-old Paige Butler of Shelton. Now, the driver of the RAV4, identified as 54-year-old William McGeorge of Park Avenue in Bridgeport, refused medical attention. And in other news, here's another reminder to lock your cars and keep your valuables out of plain sight. Take a look at this video shared by the Connecticut State Police. Now, this was from an attempted break-in on Saturday around 3:30 in the morning in Durham. Police say it's a reminder that some suspects look for cars that are unlocked and easy to access, no smashing windows, no forced entry, and no noise. And other suspects, like the one in the video, look for cars that are either unlocked or have valuables in plain sight. Police say they'll risk making noise and smashing a window if the valuables are easy to access. And Ash Wednesday is today, February 14th, and for practicing Catholics and other Christians, it's a day of penance and fasting, despite also falling on Valentine's Day. Well, Ash Wednesday is also 46 days before Easter Sunday. This morning, St. Luke's in Darien was giving out ashes on the go to busy commuters, as you can see in this video from the Darien Times. But if you still need to get your ashes, many of our local news sites have your Ash Wednesday services listed now, so you can get more information there. All right, let's get one final look at your forecast with Frank Granito. Frank.
All right, thank you, Kate. Again, a mild day around the county. We're going to see periods of sun and clouds the rest of the afternoon. Temperatures right around 46. A low of 38 tonight with some increasing cloud cover late. We'll see areas of fog moving in, possibly a shower or two before Thursday morning. That fog continues through our morning commute. Temperatures all the way up into the mid-50s tomorrow. Mostly cloudy, but we could see a little bit of sunshine in the afternoon. Thickening clouds overnight, occasional rain starting late. A low of 42 overnight. That rain going to carry through Friday morning. Temperatures are back into the 50 and showers hang around until the early afternoon. Kevin and I are here 2 o'clock for Nutmeg Sports, and then from Bridgeport Central High tonight, 7 p.m. tip-off. Central and Stanford Boys Hoops right here on the HAN Network. For now, go back over to Kate.
All right, thanks so much, Frank. And coming up at 12:30, we have CT Pulse. Be sure to check it out. But we're going to wrap things up here on your coffee break. We'll see you tomorrow. Wishing everyone a very happy Valentine's Day.